What's up, you guys? It's Felicia here from Valuable Referral, aka Valuable Mindset. And all I do on this channel is simply refer value to the entrepreneur to help them win. Today, I'm going to share with you something that a lot of people want to get into. A lot of people build courses, we might sell e-commerce, but today we're going to be talking about mentorship and how to become a great mentor. Not so much I'm not going to be sharing so much about the skill in the sense of what it takes, but we're going to be talking about the mindset. Here's why. Because a lot of times people do things just solely based on the money. And when you do stuff based on the money, you kind of are in a quantity state. But if you do stuff based on the value you give to your customer, your client, your student, you now are in the quality section. And your heart is going to show, and you're going to separate yourself from those who are doing it solely for the purposes of money versus the people who actually want to help other people. And so if you're new to this channel, welcome. You're in for a treat, and there's a bunch of videos. I hope you find value out of this video I'm about to share with you. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go over 4 tips that will actually help you become a great mentor to a mentee, to a student, to a client, a coach rather. And the first one is to love people, to like people. You don't want to be in a customer service business solely based on the money, and it really is going to show when people who have different personalities, different mannerisms than you, and you're not understanding that people are different from you because you're solely doing it based on what they can take out of their wallet and give to you. So you're not really a person that values the individual, and when you do that, the advice rather that you give them is not going to be genuine. You're going to try to do all you can to help them, but it's not going to be genuine information out of care and concern. It's going to show, because sometimes dealing with people, it can be a headache, but at the same time it can be very rewarding if you love what it is that you do and who it is that you help. So that's number one, and I say that with every being of my soul, because I worked as a New York State correction officer for many years. When I first got in there, I did it solely based for the money. You can go from a salary of $40,000, I think I was making when I first started 28 or 32, which is not that much, but my first year I actually made $101,000. Granted, it was solely based on the money, but when I actually started changing my mindset and start seeing what the system collectively was about, I start caring about the people, and I knew that I couldn't stay there and be a great help to them, but I had to actually create my own freedom and build programs and different businesses that I can reach back to not just the officer but also the inmate, that helps them and actually change their mindset, help them change their mindset in a sense, because I actually started to love people as opposed to just getting paid, because it is a cushy job. A 9 to 5 that you can make over 6 figures. If that's what your main goal is, great. But it wasn't for me. I actually wanted purpose. So number 1, you just definitely have to be a person that loves people. Number 2, you want to be somebody that actually has a good character. You don't want to be, I'm not talking about perfection. There's nobody on earth that's pregnant. I said pregnant. Oh my God, perfect. Look at me. There's nobody on earth that's perfect. And when I say that, even if you have great discipline and you seem like you just have it all together, there's always something that a person lacks. You might be good in a few areas, but not good in all. But the advice that you might want to pass on to somebody who is your student, who is your mentee, who is your client, you definitely want to be a person that walks it out, because your advice, it can be kind of vague and misconstrued in a sense, especially if you've never been a person that has done it yourself. So what I mean when I say that is, like, when we actually look for help as human beings, we're not just looking for help from just anybody. Sometimes that could be the case, but most times we want to look for those people who actually been where we've been, walk where we walk, and actually got through it, got over it, got healed from it, and now can share their story and give us hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So you want to be a person that has good moral character and good standards and good discipline about yourself, because I'm not saying that you have to go through everything that your client has gone through or is going through, but you definitely want to be a model person, somebody who actually walk the walk and not just talk the talk. You know what I mean? Because now it's going to look like I said, when the first, you're just doing it for the paycheck, you know. So when, like, for instance, prime example, if I'm looking to work out and looking for my body to be a certain way, a certain shape, a certain form, I have to actually now seek a trainer who I actually would like to look at, who I actually like to be like, you know, to emulate. Because if you are in bad shape and you have a trainer shirt on and you're at a gym, I'm not going to take to you too much because you're doing the same thing I might be doing, in a sense of not having that discipline to, you know, work out and eat right. So I need that person who is strong where I'm weak, so to say. So that's number 2. You definitely want to be somebody who has discipline and has a good moral character and a good head on your shoulder. Number 3, you definitely want to be a listener. A lot of times, most people listen to respond, not listen to take in and to understand, and even oftentimes sympathize. Yes, I know that being a mentor can be hard, because it's hard to be there for people who you personally told to do X, Y, and Z. That's going to definitely help them in a situation, and they don't take your advice. But at the same time, there is a gray area, in a sense, where you actually can be in a situation where you think it's like the rest of the people you actually, you know, coached or gave advice to. But if you listen to them, sometimes if you listen to every single one of your students or your clients separately, they still might have a different issue than the last client or the last student that you had. For instance, depression comes in different forms. And a lot of times we might look at it as, oh, this person is lazy, or, you know, I used to do that all the time when I used to think that, you know, so some of my friends like, hey, you just don't want it. And not understanding that they are in a state of depression because my ears were shut down. I wasn't listening. You know what I mean? So it's like I couldn't give them sound advice because I wasn't hearing them correctly, and I wasn't hearing the help that they need or they can seek out. I was just looking at it or hearing it on a surface base. Sometimes sometimes most of our calls with our students or clients should be a listening session. You should let the student or whoever it is that you're trying to coach just vent. And you should be a person that always take in information, because when you take in information, you'll be able to analyze what it is that person really is going through. Because depression can look like laziness. You know, depression can look like anger, and there's different forms. And then sometimes you just have to separate the two, but you have to be a listener to take that in. For instance, for those of us who are all of us went to school just about, and we had a math problem. There were times where I actually got the problem wrong. One, I hated math, but there was times I got the problem wrong because I didn't read it all. I didn't actually take in all the information that was said in the problem to come to the answer. And that's what I'm trying to say when it comes to being a great listener. You always want to take in information. Being a mentor is not just about giving advice. It's about listening and cultivating and understanding the person that you're actually trying to help. So that's number 3. Number 4, you can't be afraid to give value, meaning that you can't be afraid of people to the point where you feel that it's going to mess up your finances. It's going to mess up maybe a friendship. You might be mentoring or coaching somebody that's close to you. You cannot be afraid to tell people the truth and give them value, because that's what you're here for. And that's what separates you, per se, from the thousands of people who are getting into this just for a paycheck. So giving value sometimes hurts, because you don't know if that student is yet ready to receive it. Though they might be hire you as a coach or a client, hiring you as a coach or a mentor, they might not be ready within themselves to receive it. And you will actually know once you give them the value that you believe can absolutely help them. A lot of times it's a two-way street. Sometimes the student might feel that you withhold certain information for people that you might be closer to, and give them more value than the person that's paying you. And sometimes they might hold back on doing certain things or actually taking your advice. But you always want to be at a state of honesty and show that you care. This all goes full circle from 1, 2, and 3. When it comes to number 4, when you love people, when you're a great listener, when you're a person of good judgment and good moral character, not in perfection, but in walking the walk, being strong in areas that your students or your clients are weak in. So you definitely want to be a person that cares so much. My mentor told me this one time, and I'm going to say it to you: care so much that you don't care. In the sense that you care so much about them that you need them to hear the truth. The practice side of everything is finding out how to tell them the truth in a way where it's easy for them to receive. So, and I'm not saying you can't be you, and I'm not saying to be scared or be shy to tell them the truth. I'm saying in a way where it doesn't come off, depending on the student, because you really have to read the student. Some people you can just tell it the way it is. Some people you just have to take a different approach. But that all comes in you as a mentor, also being a student within yourself and learning each and every individual client or student. And that's what you want to do. That's the way you become a great mentor. And the reason why I broke down and I got into the crevices of mindset is because a lot of us want to learn a skill, and when we learn the skill, sometimes the skill doesn't work for us, too tough. It doesn't work how we expect it to work. Here's why: because we haven't developed the mindset behind the skill to actually make it work. Entrepreneurship and being great at something comes twofold. You can learn a skill of being the basketball player and learning the fundamentals, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the Kobe Bryant of basketball or the LeBron James or the Michael Jordans of basketball. Here's why: they learn the fundamentals, but they believe in it. They love it. It's passionate. They go to practice 2-3 times a day. So even though you go to practice, you might not go to practice as much as them. So there is a skill set to it, but there's also a mindset and a heart behind it to actually make everything come full circle. If you found value in this video, I know this video is kind of long, but if you found value in this video, please please share it with somebody who needs to hear that, who's also trying to get into the field of, a coach or client or, in the mentorship space. And subscribe to the video. I have plenty of more videos. I have technical videos that actually show you how to do certain things. But the reason why mindset is such a big thing, because it goes hand in hand. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and be in the know, on the know. I share all these videos. I share all my experiences with you guys. It's only for one reason and one reason only. It's because you're worth it. And I'll see you later in the next video.